Hi, Shadis, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Hope you are great. So came across a video from a white woman. I don't know if this is satire or if I don't know if she's beaten or not because she is pregnant and she says she's pro-life, she and her husband, and she is at risk. So the doctor has advised that she leave the state because the state she is in now, she cannot do it. So she has to go to another state to spend some time there while they get that done because her life is at stake. And the husband is saying no, that she cannot. The truth is that a majority people voted for this woman, but she actually voted against her own interest. Republicans aren't pro-life, if I may say. They are anti-woman. Simple as that. It's only a smart person that will understand this. I don't know if Texas will track her down if you lose your baby in another state. I don't know if not, if she, I don't know. But the husband telling her not to do it is like the husband not loving her, because every man would want anything that will save the wife, no matter how pro-life you are. Because I will absolutely choose myself over anything. And if anything happens to me, my husband can always get another wife and replace me. So I don't get it. I don't want to say this is what you voted for, but let's get into this video.
So I live in Texas and I'm pregnant with my third baby. And I am pro-life. I always have been. There is no greater gift on this earth than a child. But I am kind of freaking out right now. And I'm starting to regret the way I voted, the way I've been thinking. And honestly, I'm scared for my life. I'm older, so this is a high-risk pregnancy. I had my first two babies, I did home delivery. I delivered them at home. And it was painful, but it was no problems at all. This one, I'm older and it's high risk, so I had to go to a different doctor than I usually go. And she's, all the way in town. So I have to drive, 40 minutes in town to see her. So in this third trimester, things are getting a little bit tricky. And she said to me today, she said, you need to start making plans to deliver this baby out of town. You need to spend the next few weeks out of state. I don't know anybody out of state. I was like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, you're very high risk. And we're monitoring this baby closely. But if the baby's heart rate slows down, if we think the baby's life is at risk, you could die. And she said the reason is because in this state, you're not allowed to operate on a woman who loses the baby. You have to go into labor naturally and you have to deliver the baby. You have to go into labor and you have to deliver the baby. And if you have a dead baby in your uterus for that long, you could go into septic shock and die. And I was like, what on earth are you talking about? And she was like, well, it's all about abortion. And she told me that these late-term abortions, I'm so embarrassed to say this, but I literally thought that babies were born and mothers were killing them. Doctors were killing the baby after it was born. I thought late-term abortion was an abortion. You end the pregnancy because you don't want to have a baby, but she said late-term abortion is just a necessary procedure when you lose the baby inside the womb to protect the mother's life. I was like, what are you talking about? Then, of course, I called my husband and he's at work. And he's like, that's dumb liberal doctor. Don't listen to her. We're staying here. Let's find a new doctor. Honestly, I don't know what to believe because for my entire life, okay, I'm 35. My entire life, I believe that late-term abortion is somebody saying they don't want their baby. And that's not allowed in the state of Texas, obviously, because I vote for Trump. I vote for MAGA. I vote for Greg Abbott. But they're telling me it's actually something different. It's a life-saving procedure to save the mother when the baby has died in the womb. That's insane. That's not allowed? I have to make plans out of state? I don't know anybody outside the state of Texas at all. And I'm not going to have an abortion. Why can't I get Like, if my life is in danger, why can't I save myself? I have 2 kids at home. I'm freaking out. My blood pressure is through the roof. I have no idea what to do. Somebody who's from a different state or somebody who's a doctor, just please explain it to me, because this cannot be real.
So there's a woman who is a conservative. She's pro-life. She voted for Trump. But she's regretting her decision because now she's pregnant with her 3rd child. She's older. And there might be some complications where the child might not make it. And her doctor's saying, hey, you may need to go out of state to get a late-term abortion, right? So she's going through a panic. And she calls her husband to tell her what the doctor says. And her husband said, no, that's just a liberal doctor. Don't worry about it. First off, to that woman who's in this situation, I'm sorry. I hope the worst case scenario does not happen. I hope you have a healthy baby with no complications. I would never want anything to happen to you and your child. Never. I don't understand this need to listen to your husband over a medical professional. I don't get it. That's why a lot of us don't mess around with religion. That's why a lot of us don't play around with conservative men. Because I would want a husband, because everybody's like liberal husbands are, my liberal husband would immediately go, what state? How much money we need to gather? Let's find a doctor. Here's a directory. That is the type of partner you want. The problem with conservative men is that they think they know everything and they think they own their wives, even at the detriment of their wives. I don't understand, ma'am, how you could listen to a man that's not a doctor and politicians about your health care versus your doctor. And we have been telling y'all for so long, this narrative that they are pushing about late-term abortions, wrong. It's wrong. It's only if there's something wrong with the baby. It's not just for the fun of it. Because if that were the case, then that would just be murder. Trump, Greg Abbott, your husband, they are not going to help you if things ever really took a turning point. So please, think of yourself, think of your child, protect yourself, protect your child, and you make arrangements despite them.
The way I voted, the way I've been thinking, and honestly, I'm scared.
Okay, I never come up on here like this because a lot of people can be very sensitive to certain things. And this topic right here is already a very controversial topic, opinion, whatever the heck you want to say. But it absolutely baffles me. Like, enrages me actually how people, human beings in general, let alone women can choose to be ignorant on topics that actually can concern them, that should concern them, that literally play a role in their everyday life. Women's health. I am in nursing school right now, and I specifically want to go towards women's health, and I research about it all the time because of this exact video. How can you just go your entire life and not use your free will of going on the internet and searching up topics? Like, I don't know if it's just me, but if I don't understand something, if I'm going to go and vote that decides the nation's decisions on certain topics, I'm researching about it. I'm looking it up in great detail to make sure that I understand that I'm about to use my choices for the good of all, the good of everyone. So it just is crazy, and especially to be a woman and not use that is insane. And me being a biracial woman, married to a black man, that's surrounded by black women, that's also creating black women one day, because I have daughters, it baffles me. Like, I could never walk around here and not want to be knowledgeable on women's health and topics. How do you go your entire life, like, no shade for real, like, I mean, it baffles me, but it's just like, that really is what it's like over here. You're a white woman. I get it. You never had to do these things before. But it's just, like, it only goes so far. We're in the 21st century. The internet, like, I just don't know. Is it mistrust? Is it just wanting to follow everything your man says? Like, I don't know. But free will is something that I feel like every person and every woman should choose to acknowledge themselves on topics. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's just a little crazy to me. Like, I just had to come up here and say that. Because what do you mean you've been your whole life thinking that a late term abortion is them taking the baby, you birthing it, and then them, what? And that also brings into illiteracy. A lot of people really don't be understanding things. People really think that being an illiterate is not knowing how to read. No, baby. Being illiterate also means not having that critical thinking. Them cognitive wheels inside of that brain turning and understanding what you are digesting while you read. Some of us need to do that and truly look at the things that are happening right now in this world, in the government, that's happening right now. Because a lot of y'all that voted in MAGA truly do not understand the things that y'all voted for. And I think a lot of us need to take this time and see what's happening in the world and be like, let me actually sit down and educate myself on some of these topics. Let's all do that. Let's all sit down and rethink for a little bit, process, take some time, and then figure out what you're going to do when that next term comes up. Let's all do that. That would be very helpful.
I am pro-life. I always have been. There is no greater gift on this earth.
You rage baiting, and I don't like it. You regret voting for those people that told you full on with their full chest because you identify as being pro-life. Yep. This is rage bait. Are you asking for money? These laws are the reason that there aren't OBGYNs in the Bible Belt at all. Like, you regret your vote? And fun fact, same vote that you identify with, them pro-life people, they don't want you to vote any fucking.
So I live in Texas and I'm pregnant with my third baby. And I am pro-life.
I'm struggling with whether you got what you voted for, which is the hard part, because what you're going through is fucked up. Unequivocally, no ifs, ands, or buts. What you're going through is fucked up. But this is also what you voted for, right? You voted for Trump, you voted for Abbott. This is what you wanted. You're MAGA. Let me tell you what a late-term abortion actually is, okay? A late-term abortion was a dog whistle that was created by the right to talk about abortion to pro-lifers. Late-term abortions don't exist. No one's giving abortions in the third trimester because that's not how this functions, right? But if you say that to pro-lifers who don't know anything about the pro-choice aspect of it, if you don't know, to a pro-lifer who doesn't know anything about the choices, then they don't know that there's a time limit for terminating a pregnancy. You don't know that there was a time limit for you to terminate your pregnancy, right? And you don't want to terminate your pregnancy. And I'm like, okay, great. I think that you should have the right to carry your child. Choice that you get to have, right? The desire here is for there to be a population boom. But what they're saying, though, is that if you can't carry a baby to term, Like if the fetus expires within you, like say, okay, you're a high risk pregnancy. Say this fetus doesn't survive. Hard as fuck on you, right? But maybe you're able to get pregnant again. And, you know, maybe you're one of those girls who's like, I want to have 5 or 6 children. That one didn't work out, but like I can have 5 or 6 children. That's what they will want. But the thing is, what they're saying is that if you can't carry a baby to term, if the fetus expires within you, then maybe you don't deserve to survive. There was a young woman in Texas. I believe she was 20 years old. She and her mother went to the hospital because something was wrong with her baby. She felt physically in pain. They did some checks and they said the baby had expired, but they couldn't take the baby out of her. They couldn't do a D&C. They couldn't void the fetus because right now that's illegal in Texas. They weren't able to provide her with life-saving care until she went into septic shock. The young woman did not survive because she was trying to give birth to a live child and the child expired within her and they could not void losing a child is really hard, especially when you really want the child, right? Like that's scary. That's hurtful. That's hard. Imagine losing the child and then having to sit with its carcass inside of you until it makes you physically ill, and that's when they will do something for you. Because right now the laws are if the baby isn't decomposed enough, they can't get him out of you. So make your plans. Go to a different state. I understand not wanting to, but go to a different state because you're a high-risk pregnancy. And if this baby isn't viable, you could expire. So, because right now the conversation is you have to make a choice between like prayer, like I don't like you or your type of person, but like I want for you to be able to deliver this baby healthily, that the baby comes out okay and that you'll come out okay, right? But you have to go somewhere else. Because if that does not happen, if the baby is not healthy, if delivering this baby jeopardizes your life, they in Texas they have to let you get close to death. They have to. And this is what you voted for. That's the other hard part, right? Because now you're like, wait, how do I choose between this is and you're pro-life, right? But that's the choice you made. Your choice made this possible. And now it's the law where you live. And not understanding the issues informed the way that you voted. And you have to get out of that state. You have to get out of that state to labor. Because if you do not, you like fetal and maternal mortality have skyrocketed in the last year since Roe v. Wade. So the likelihood of you not surviving and this baby not surviving has increased astronomically in the last year. Yeah, so you have to go find somewhere else to labor. You need to figure it out. Life is hard. I get it. Money's tight. These tariffs, baby, this economy is not economying. You need to go figure out somewhere else to labor because they don't care if you survive. They don't care if you survive. They don't care if the baby survives. I want you to give birth to this child because you want this child. I want you to survive giving birth to this child. But if this fetus is not viable, it will sit in you until it makes you sick enough that it will kill you. Not asking you and voiding a non-viable fetus that's not an abortion. That's reproductive health. That's reproductive care. That's what it means. That's half of what this means. That when a pregnancy is harming a person, that they can terminate pregnancy. So an ectopic pregnancy is a pregnancy where the egg embeds itself in the fallopian tube, and like that can cause all kinds of havoc, and it's relatively common. But where you live, if the baby embeds in a place that is not supposed to embed, then a person's supposed to carry that to term and risk their lives. And you're a high-risk pregnancy because you're an older young lady, according to medicine, right? So yeah, get out of town, figure it out. It's hard, I get it. Look, A, you voted for this. B, you got to do what you got to do. If you want to be here for your kids, if you want to be here for your husband. And look, him screaming that the doctor is a liberal, that's liberal bullshit. Smack the shit out of him. Have him pull it the fuck together. Because right now, y'all have to make a plan for you to survive this pregnancy. I'm sorry. But I'm not. I'm sorry that you're going through this, but you voted for this. So I'm like, I don't know what to tell you other than get the hell out of town and do better. And maybe it feels like a wrong time for me to tell you to do better. It's not the wrong time, because look at where you are because you didn't. Figure it out. Figure it out. They don't care about you surviving. You're the only person who does. Me and you, we care about you surviving. Your husband cares about you surviving. Your kids care about you surviving. Your president does not. Your governor does not. So, figure it out. They don't give a fuck. There's no money for this. There's no grant you can sign up for to make this happen. Because they don't care if you survive. So, figure out how the fuck to survive. And do better. For yourself. For your kids. So your husband has a fucking wife. So your kids have a fucking mother. So you can be their fucking mother. So you can survive. So you can live out whatever dreams you have. Do better.
Rate slows down. If we think the baby's life is at risk, you could die. And she said,
all right, let me start off by saying that I am pro-choice. I believe that, men who sit in office at the White House should not have the right to dictate what I do with my body, whether I am pregnant or not, just women's bodies in general. So when it comes to pregnancy, yes, I am pro-choice. Okay, and a lot of people in the comments are saying some stuff like, oh, now you care because it's affecting you. And, oh, this is like a consequence of your actions and blah, blah, blah. I am not here to say that, okay? I am in public health. Yes, I'm on the other side. I'm not MAGA, but I am for people receiving quality healthcare, people having access to healthcare, and moms being able to have options when it comes to their pregnancies. So I just want to address this from a place of compassion, right? And as a scientist as well, I want to be able to educate and connect with people. So this is an educational moment, and hopefully I can come at it with some empathy, because I feel for you. I feel for this woman. I mean, she is terrified, rightfully so. She's pregnant. She's pretty far along in her pregnancy, and she has just been told that she probably needs to go to a different state and make plans to try and have a baby there, because if something were to go wrong, because this is a high-risk pregnancy, the doctor cannot perform surgery, just surgery in general. We're not even talking about like an abortion procedure, just surgery in general. Like, she can't do that because of the laws in Texas. And so this woman's freaking out, okay? She's like, what do I do? So she's terrified, rightfully so. And the question is, okay, where do you go to receive health care then if I can't do it in Texas or whatever other red state that is like Texas, okay? Colorado is one of those states where you can come and receive health care or abortion health care. Let me first address this late-term abortion, okay? Late-term abortion, and as she expressed in this video, she was like, I thought it was like people have the baby and then they kill it because they don't want it anymore. Very incorrect. Like, get that out of your head, okay? Incorrect. And I don't know where that came from, but I understand why people would be opposed to it if that is what they think late-term abortion is. Like, what the heck? You're gonna have this baby, go through pregnancy and blah, 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 and then like, just get rid of it? No, that just simply does not happen, okay? Late-term abortion typically happens like 21 to 24 weeks of pregnancy, and it happens because there's some great medical anomaly happening, or there's some super high-risk stuff happening to the baby or the mom, right? And like potentially you could die, and so we need to undergo this procedure. And if that means that the fetus dies in the process, then yeah, that's like a late-term abortion. Or maybe it is better to get to abort the fetus because then like your life is so at risk that we need to do this, okay? So that is late-term abortion. Less than 1% of all abortions are late term, okay? Like people aren't out here being pregnant for 21 plus weeks and then all of a sudden deciding, oh, I don't think I want this baby anymore, and then like just getting rid of it. That just doesn't happen, okay? And if someone is doing that out there, then like that is very questionable, and I would advise some some therapy, maybe like some intervention there, but like I'm just saying that just doesn't happen, okay? Late-term abortions are because there's something medical going on and it's high risk. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, back to Colorado, right? You're from Texas, Colorado, just go up a little bit. If you come here, yes, you can find care. You don't have to be like a resident of Colorado to receive care. There are clinics and hospitals that will provide this care for you, and you're protected. They can't like come after you because for whatever reason you have undergone something late-term abortion and now you're criminalized for it. Sorry, I just had to like burp. So yeah, you can come to Colorado. I can't speak for any other states because I don't live there. I just know where I live. That's a possibility. And a lot of people from neighboring red states do come to Colorado to receive healthcare because, again, for whatever reason, the state that they live in and MAGA and the policies just don't support providing medical care for moms who are pretty far along in their pregnancy. I see another point of tension here, which is her husband, right? She called her husband to talk about this. She's freaking out. What she needs is support, and her husband's like, oh, no, that's some stupid liberal crap, snowflakes, blah, 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 blah. And I do want to address that a little bit, right? Because I think husband, if you somehow see this, which you probably won't because who am I? But partners in general, like, let's put the political stuff aside for now. This doctor has told your wife that this is a very high-risk pregnancy and things could happen that are sad, tragic, not great for your family. And what you need to do is prioritize your wife's health and your family. And so if the doctor is advising, maybe make plans to go to a different state so that you can provide more options when it comes to healthcare and not have to deal with the political legal side of it, I would probably take that option because her life is important and the baby is also important, your family's important, right? So maybe like put that aside a little bit, just shelf it, and then let's support your wife. Yep. So I hope this was helpful for her or for any other woman out there who is in a similar situation. There are other states like Colorado, but again, I can't speak for them. But at least in Colorado, I know that there are some safeguards in place for mothers so that they can't be like sought after because, oh my God, you just had an abortion, now we have to arrest you. I think there are some safeguards in place for that. You don't have to be a resident here for that to happen. And depending on how far along you are in your pregnancy, also hospitals, clinics, they have different policies in terms of we don't perform abortions after a certain amount of weeks. Again, we're talking like pretty far along, like 30 to 40 weeks, right? Like it rarely happens. And if it does, it's because it, again, like super something medical and high risk. And even right now at 21 to 24 weeks, which is commonly what we then start referring to as late-term abortions, again, people don't just go that long and then say, I just don't want this baby, so let's get rid of it. It's because it's high risk, which is what this mother's situation is. And I hope that she's able to find care that she needs because, again, I'm a public health girly. Okay, regardless of my political affiliation, regardless of like who I voted for or whatever, what I believe in, my core value is that people should receive quality health care and everyone should have access to health care. And that includes people who don't have the same political values as me or don't have the same views as me, okay? So for this woman out there and any other woman in similar situations, like I see you, I hear you, hope I could give you some options to look into, and you do deserve good care. So let's try and find that, okay? And good luck.
My entire life, I believe that late-term abortion is somebody saying they don't want their baby. And that's not allowed in the state of Texas, obviously, because I vote for Trump, I vote for MAGA, I vote for Greg Abbott.
Is this the part where we say fuck around and find out? Because this woman, her entire video is about how she is high risk because she's an older pregnant woman and she went to see her doctor and her doctor was like, you are going to have to possibly make plans to go out of state to deliver this baby. Because if you stay here in Texas, there is every possibility that if something goes wrong, you could end up unalived. So this entire video is her freaking out, finding out that late-term abortions aren't, a woman who is 3 trimesters in, just popping over to the clinic and getting a quickie abortion because she changed her mind. This video in and of itself fucking pissed me off. And I ended up doing a little bit of research. I read through all of the comments. I went through some of her videos and I realized that this video is actually satire. And that pissed me off even fucking more because it's so fucking believable because people actually do fucking think like this. And she claims that she's doing engage bait, where she is hoping that MAGA will come into her comments and engage with her and be like, oh my God, I did not know that this is what a late-term abortion was. Because there are people in MAGA who truly believe that a late-term abortion is just some woman popping over to that clinic and getting a quickie abortion and then going and getting a pedicure. The reality is her comments are full of people who are very left-leaning people who are like, fuck around, find out. I even saw some of my mutuals in there saying things like, we tried to tell you. So I get that this video is fucking satire and it's your engage bait or whatever, but I think it's really fucking dangerous because I don't see a single MAGA person in there who is learning from this content. Unfortunately, it is way too believable. And it took way too fucking long to figure out that it was satire. Please find a better way to do it.
Why can't I get, like, if my life is in danger, why can't I save myself?
Because you don't matter anymore. You're just a vessel. You are just here, and only here, for one reason, and one reason only. And that is to bring children into the world. Do you understand? And no, that's not allowed. That's not allowed for you to make the decision before, even if you had your plans in order. That's not allowed for your husband to make the decision either. And if you want to know, you can ask Adrienne Smith, a nurse from Georgia who was pregnant and unalived. And they kept that woman's body running because it had a baby inside of it. Even though they had the proper documents in order to self-terminate if said thing were to ever happen. Do not resuscitate. all paperwork in line and in order. And against her family's wishes, against the law, they kept her alive to bring the fucking baby into the world, not realizing that she wasn't far along enough for this baby to be able to survive on its own. And now this baby, while being born, the multitude of issues it will have if it lives.
This is all I got from this video. Man, why would you listen to your husband? Why is your husband the one to dictate what happens at this point in time? Because you can see that you are at risk. So why not listen to doctor? Something is not adding up. Or is it just that some people do not use their brain when some certain things happen? I don't get it. And there are so many things that are on my mind to say, but I will just keep quiet and let it slide. But one thing I am going to tell you, are pro-life and you have always been pro-life, right? And now you can see that your decision, right, or your vote, because you and your husband voted against your own interest, right? Now that you are at risk, what is going to happen? Are you going to call Donald Trump to let you do it? Or now that they are saying that you have to fly to another state, right? Because, like, there are some states you cannot do it. And you are at risk. The fact that the people, I don't know what is wrong with these people, and they're very seriously. She has to deliver the child out of town because her state where she is living presently, she cannot do it. The fact that when a woman's life is in danger while carrying or trying to bring another life, and you have to choose between your life and the baby's life, tells how disgusting America is at this point in time, or how disgusting some states are at this point in time. I don't know if this woman is bitten, but I just don't know. But man, like literally everything is going on with her. Everything that is going on with her now is like the forbidden fruits that they have won or they have said that nobody should ever do. Because in some states you cannot have abortion. Yeah, because it's forbidden. It's in kind of rare. I am not a mother yet, but so far I have been around my cousins and all that already had children. And I remember my cousin, Darlene, her name is Darlene. Darlene was at risk that I think that she's alive today is because, God said that this is not yet time. She already, I don't know how to say it, but she already died and woke up again. Doctors told her that, you see that God, this was what the doctor told her, you see that God, you are 7, continue to serve it. Because my brother was the one that rushed her to hospital when that started. They had to call him, and he also gave blood. Like, it was a disaster. My brother said that he was not expecting to hear any news that she made it. Like she also said it, that they were not expecting any great news from what happened to her, but God gave her another chance. She was at risk, and the doctors, what they were so much concerned about was saving her first before any other thing. But thank goodness, God saved her and the child. I am not lying. If they are all, my family watch my videos, so if she says it, she might comment, she might not comment. That on that same spot that they finished, she told them, tie my womb, tie all of it, lock the key if there is any key you use in padlocking it, because my life is very vital. So this one, you are saying your husband does not, or your husband, you are not ready. So if anything happens to you, you think that man is not going to marry another woman? Madam, go save your life first. If you are going to continue with the marriage, you continue. But all I am going to say is that to majority white women that voted for this, now you can see what you voted for. Voting against your own interest. Bye for now.